Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Girls Who Like Hoops podcast. I'm Tori, the host. I'm super excited to be here today. Kind of anxious also and a little nervous. So if I seem a little nervous, it's because I am, but it's okay. I'm gonna get back into it. Anywho, I kind of just wanted to come on here for the first episode and talk about what this podcast is, what to expect from it, what I'm gonna be talking about, and introducing myself. So you know my name. I went to Georgia State University just to get the basics out of the way. I went to Georgia State University in Atlanta, and I graduated from there last May in 2023. Super excited. Go Panthers. GSU, GSU. Anyways, but I went to school there, and I got my bachelor's in interdisciplinary studies with a concentration in media entrepreneurship, which really just means I went to school to do exactly what I'm doing right now, coming on the internet and yapping. And I feel like that's the greatest thing you can do. You know what I'm saying? So I did that. Basically, when I was younger, I played basketball, and I'll even add a little picture of me in my little uniform. I was a cute little thing. Anyways, but I used to tell my dad when we would go and like shoot around and stuff, I told him I really wanted to go to the WNBA and I wanted to be great. And, I think as you get older, sometimes your passions for things change, and, you get told that you're not good enough to do something enough, and you eventually believe it. And I was definitely one of the people who did believe that. And so I stopped playing, and over the past few years, I kind of just started finding my love for basketball again. And so I was kind of been seeing a lot of the conversations that have been happening surrounding the WNBA, which is what I will be primarily talking about for right now. I will also be talking about the NBA playoffs and some of the stuff that I think, but we have enough people talking about the NBA. I want to see more women and especially more content about the WNBA. I think that we have a really great product, and we have amazing talent that was recently drafted, talent that's been in the league and talent from the past, and I really want to amplify that. And like I said, I think we have a really great product, and I want to elevate these people, and I want to answer the questions for people who are wondering who should we be watching, how to watch the game, what to watch, when to watch. And I just really kind of want to use my voice and use the things and leverage what I'm good at, which is making content and yapping. I want to leverage that and help empower something that I really love and enjoy. And that is women's basketball, whether it's WNBA, college basketball, all the things. I hope that I'll be here to discuss those things. So anywho, you guys have heard about me. Oh yeah. Also, I guess I should add, I have another podcast. I've been doing that for like 6 years. And I was kind of I sit back and I'm a part of WNBA and NBA Twitter, and I consume and watch a lot of basketball content. I watch the Gilbert Arenas podcast. I obviously watch ESPN stuff. I've seen a lot of the analysts over there. I watch the Stephen A. Smith show. I used to watch Undisputed back when Shannon Sharp was on there. I even watch Shannon Sharp stuff sometimes. And like I said, I'm on the internet, on NBA Twitter. I'm always in the subreddits listening to what people want to see from their teams, what moves they would like to see made in the off season, and stuff like that. And I kind of just was like, oh, I wish I could talk about basketball and, kind of build a community of people who love and enjoy basketball as well. And I kind of asked myself, why can't I do that? And the answer that I came up with, because I was afraid, or like I'm afraid to do it. And I'm afraid that I'm not going to find people who want or are interested in that. And if me being afraid is the only reason that I can come up with why I'm not doing something, I'm going to do it. So here I am. Like I said, I'm a little nervous, actually, a little anxious. I don't want you guys to think I'm weird. So there's that. But yeah, if this doesn't go well, I'll just like delete it and wipe it off the face of the earth. Like, I think that is the only right reaction to that. But yeah, I'm really excited to be here and talking about basketball, and really just making sure that we have some spaces to discuss it, and it being more of an empowering conversation rather than like a put down conversation. I think for me, I started watching the WNBA more and like a lot more heavily when Kelsey Plum entered the league. I remember when she was playing for the Washington Huskies, yes, and she was about to beat the NCAA D1 scoring title. And I just remembered hearing her name a lot, and I was like, oh, like, she's a really great player. Like, she's really good. And then she got drafted number 1 to at the time, the San Antonio Stars, and who eventually became the Las Vegas Aces, and that team is amazing. I'm a big Aces fan, so there will be a lot of Aces propaganda here. Also, for future reference, I'm a big Steph Curry fan. Okay, this is my little jersey. I love it. It's my favorite. My parents got it for me for Christmas. I love that man down. I think something I enjoy about basketball also is just seeing these players, like, just watching them play and seeing how excited they are about the game. I think it makes fans interested. And I think that's like why I'm a big Steph Curry fan, is because even when the chips are down and his team isn't looking that great, I love to see like him just enjoying his time on the court. And I think that goes for a lot of the players. And I wish that a lot more players would kind of show that emotion a little bit more. I know that it comes off as showboaty and like arrogant sometimes, but I think that's what makes the game fun to watch. Like, just watching people who are great at their craft and have mastered it and are just enjoying like being able to do that. Like, these players, they go and they dream about being in the WNBA or being in the NBA and playing at high levels and winning championships. And I think it's just really important to just elevate that experience. Like, they've worked really hard to get there and they made it, and I really want to see them enjoy it because they deserve to enjoy it. I don't want them thinking about like, oh, what are people saying about the league? I don't want them thinking too much about like people critiquing their game. Like, they've worked hard enough to get to where they are and they should be enjoying it, and I would love to help empower that mission. So there's that. I love to yap, y'all. I'm cooking. Anyways, I do want to put a disclaimer out that I'm not a basketball savant. I won't claim to be an expert. I don't know every single like in and out of how to build a successful team and all of that stuff. At the end of the day, though, I think that casual basketball viewers should have a space to talk about basketball and their favorite teams and their favorite players and all that stuff. So I hope that I'm able to cultivate that kind of community here. And I think that we have a lot of people who are experts and who have played the game and all that stuff talking about basketball. And sometimes I really do just want to hear like what an everyday average girl has to say about it. So here I am. I'm that girl. So we talked about that, guys. I'm really cooking because I have like lists of things I need to say, and I'm really cooking. Anyways, I guess I can definitely talk about why I enjoy the WNBA. I think one of the biggest like critiques or comments that I've ever seen about women's basketball, and especially like over the past 2 years, I think I've seen people talk about the WNBA, and I've even seen like the ads during the summer of like them talking about like the playoffs, or not during the summer, but like in like August, September, of like the WNBA promoting like the games. And a lot of times when you go and click on those comments, especially like on TikTok and on Twitter, it's just a lot of ignorant like responses from men saying about, or like talking about how it's not interesting and it's boring and slow and nobody cares and nobody wants to watch. And I get so tired of seeing that. Like, I honestly, and maybe it's just because the product is for somebody like me, I just enjoy watching women's basketball because they're always just playing at a very high level. Like, every single WNBA player is high IQ. They're playing fundamental basketball. And I think one of my critiques for the NBA is that, and even some of the older players and even like current players have said this, some of the younger guys who come into the league, they kind of just are playing for like a highlight reel. Like, sometimes there are some of them who don't go and really just try to sharpen their skills. Like, a lot of them, I think, are trying to be successful just based off of their talent alone. And I don't think that anybody or any of the greats have ever become great just from just going out there and hooping like they're playing street basketball, like pick up a game of pickup basketball down at the LA Fitness. I just don't think that that's how we do that. And what I really love about the WNBA is that all of those players are high caliber players. Like, I don't think any women's player has the option to not be a high IQ basketball player, because everybody who's playing and is in the league is the best of the best. You can be a top 5, top whatever pick in the WNBA draft and be out of the league the next season, the next year, or like 2 years after that, and we never hear from you again. And that really sucks. And I think that says a lot to how badly the WNBA needs expansion. But at the same time, like I said, I think that it gives us like this really great quality of product. Like you're getting and you're seeing the best of the best compete in the WNBA. And I find that interesting. At first, at one point when I really sat down and watched, like I said, I kind of started like more so watching just Kelsey Plum play. And I've seen like Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi and Maya Moore, Kia Nurse play. I even my mom would take me and my sister to Atlanta Dream games when I was younger in middle school. And this was back when like Angel McCartry was playing there and Erica DeSouza. And it was just, honestly, I'm not going to say that there was like a bunch of people at these games, but it was just really nice to go to a game and like know that we were all just there to watch women be great and play basketball. And I really love that atmosphere. And I'm hoping to go to a game soon, actually. I'm actually have my eyes on a game that I want to go. I want to go see the Dream and the Storm play in August, and I'm really excited about that. I'm going with my friends, so it should be fun. But like I said, I think they're just playing very fundamental basketball, and I think, yeah, maybe if you are just a casual viewer who just wants to see dunks and the people really getting up and down the court, and you just want to see like the flashy moments of basketball, maybe the WNBA isn't for you. But if you do want to support women's basketball, there's definitely a lot that can be learned from the WNBA. Like I said, I think that they're really playing I think what I enjoy so much about the league is that everything feels intentional. Sometimes when I'm watching NBA games, I feel like I'm just watching people just throw up shots. Like they're not like, sometimes I don't feel like there's like deep thought about the play, about making sure that they're getting a stop, making sure that they're scoring. But with the WNBA, there's rarely ever times that I'm watching a team and I'm like, that you should have passed the ball. You should have drove to the basket. You should have done literally anything else than what you just did. And that's what I like about it. It's very clean. It's very precise. That's what I like about the WNBA. But yeah, basically we're just going to be talking about some up and coming players and some people that I'm excited to watch. Some of the teams. We're going to be talking about the games. We're going to be talking about just a lot of things. I'm excited. This is going to be the first year I actually buy League Pass. Before, I was just getting by just watching whatever was going to be on TV or whatever was on Amazon Prime or some of the other stations. And like I said, I'm super excited about this. And like I kind of mentioned briefly before, I have talked about the WNBA on TikTok and on Twitter. I've talked about college basketball on TikTok as well. And I've joined the discussions on Reddit and stuff. And I think that people are very critical of the league. And I think rightfully so. I think that there are some things that they don't always get right. At the same time, when a lot of these players are talking about the things that they need the league to do better, I think that a lot of times they get dismissed. And one of the other big critiques that I get when I talk about their pay or the things that they're asking for, that players are asking for from the league, a lot of the responses are typically from men. And a lot of times they're saying like the WNBA doesn't make a profit and all of this stuff. And they're making a lot of excuses for why women's basketball doesn't work. And I think that women's basketball deserves to work. Like, I would love to help move their mission forward. And that's what I'm intending to do with this podcast. But anyways, I would talk about the games that were happening over the past few months on TikTok. And I was actually getting a lot of followers from that. And I was like, okay, this is kind of not an untapped market per se, because there are women or people who are talking about the WNBA, but I kind of just want to see more women talking about the WNBA, and I just want to see more faces out there. So I was like, I might as well get in there, throw myself into the mix. But one of the responses that I do get from those TikToks is men saying if we want the WNBA to grow, it's on the fans to do that. And I will be a bit critical here and say that sometimes the WNBA makes it hard for fans to support their teams and the players, because there have been times when I've wanted jerseys, and when I went to go buy one, they were out of stock. And if they went out of stock like mid-season or early in the season, they never got restocked. And it's kind of really hard to support a team or support players and stuff when the league isn't necessarily making it like a priority to do that or to allow fans to do that. So that's my one gripe there. But outside of that, I hate to agree with men, but I definitely think that they have a point in saying that if we want to see it grow, it's going to be on us. And I've been watching, and I talk about the WNBA with my friends, with my family, on the internet. And I was kind of just asking myself, okay, these men kind of have a point with this. So what can I do to help, elevate the league? Like, what can I do to kind of get more people, more eyes watching it as a fan and as a viewer? And I think the better question that I ended up asking myself after that first one was, how can I leverage the things that I'm good at to enhance the product I love? And that's why and how we end up with the Girls Who Like Hoops podcast. I am good at making content. I went to school for literally yapping on the internet, like I said before. And I was like, I can just come on the internet and yap and hope for the best, cross our fingers, promote the podcast, and just hope that the right people find it. And if it goes well, then we'll keep doing it. But this is more of a trial run. It's more like a season run, and we'll see how it goes. So after I asked, how can I leverage the things that I'm good at to enhance the product I love, which is women's basketball, I asked myself, what do I want to see from the WNBA? And I want to see the league being talked about on ESPN and major sports sites outside of it just being because a scandal took place or something. I want the conversations to be about critiques of the league, but also about the same stuff that we're talking about on NBA podcasts. I want people who are newcomers to the game. I want them to be able to jump in, know how to watch, who to watch, when to watch, where to watch. And I personally kind of dislike that. If I want to know anything about any of the questions I just mentioned before, you have to go scrolling through Reddit threads. You have to go scrolling on multiple web pages, like just looking for the answers to those questions. And I'm hoping that this podcast can help filter that out. Okay. And also, like I said, I think that women's basketball just deserves to work, and I would love to help move the idea of that forward. There's a lot of talent, there's just a lot of greatness that I think could happen here. And I think that it, like people have said, it starts with the fans. And so I'm being proactive and just trying to get more people to watch the game, enjoy it. And if that means needing to educate the audience to that point, I will do that as well. But for right now, I'm really excited for what this podcast could be, what it is. And yeah, I hope that you guys will follow along on the journey. I will be here every week. I don't really know what day yet. I will definitely think on that for next week and get back to you guys. But I will be here. So in case you don't want to miss anything, make sure you subscribe, follow, and whatever you're listening to this on or watching this on, so that you can stay up to date on the new episodes when they drop. I think next week I'm going to be talking about the NBA playoffs a little bit, some of my thoughts. And I think the preseason for the WNBA is starting on Friday. So the day that I'm posting this is when the WNBA preseason is starting, and that's exciting. That's usually, by the time the preseason ends, is usually when teams have their final team together and what they are going to be playing with for the season. So most of the time, the people who are going to be waived or cut are cut by that time. And yeah, so this should be a really interesting season. I'm really excited for what's to come. I'm going to be doing a breakdown of the WNBA and the teams, the conferences, how everything works in the playoffs. Going to be talking about some of the teams I'm excited to watch this season. And obviously, just whatever else comes up. I'm super excited for this podcast and for this vision and for this community. So let's just get out there and watch some basketball. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.